Are you thinking about refinancing your mortgage? Well, there are many key factors to consider before jumping in. Grant Long is StreetEasy's senior economist, and he is here to walk us through what you might want to consider. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So explain to our viewers, when is it a good time to refinance? Is now a good time?
Well, it really depends on interest rates. That's going to be the number one factor that drives the decision whether you should refinance or not. Right now, interest rates are a little bit higher than they were a couple months ago. End of last year, they're about 4%. Now they're about 4.5%. It's still low by historical standards. So the rate right now is still basically lower than any point during the 10 years prior to the financial crisis.
So how do rising home values impact somebody's decision?
Right, so rising home values will help you take out more when you go to finance your home. So for folks who owed a lot of money on their home, maybe didn't have that full 80% that you're supposed to, or maximum 80% that you can borrow against for your home, that value of their home has gone up, and they can now maybe refinance the first time when it might have been harder before when their home didn't have as much value.
So should homeowners, so give us a couple of factors that people need to consider before they decide to do something like this.
Right. So the number one factor to keep in mind is there's a lot of upfront costs that go into refinancing a mortgage. So if the rate savings that you're getting aren't going to cover those, typically they can be about 0.5% of the value of the loan. It could not be an advantageous time to refinance. So it's really going to be that rate that drives things. Second thing that people have to keep in mind is how long they're going to stay in the home. So pay a lot up front to refinance your loan, but then you need to capture those savings over time.
The new tax plan that the president and the Trump administration put into effect last year, is that going to affect any of this?
It could. Really depends on where you live and the number of different factors that go in.
Let's talk about New York State.
Yeah, so if we talk about New York State has high property taxes, high home values. Mortgage interest, which is typically tax exempt up to, I believe it's $750,000. That limit of what is tax exempt and not tax exempt is changing with the new tax reform, and that can be a big role. But there's a bunch of other factors, including interest rates, including your home value, that can go into that and sort of mix things up. So it really depends person to person. It also depends on personal deductions.
Right. So people shouldn't worry too much. I mean, if this is something you're going to do because of some of the factors you listed, they should just do it.
Well, absolutely. So it's a very personal decision. Right. So it really helps to do a lot of research, get different offers when you're applying to refinance your mortgage. And also sort of just do the math. There's a lot of calculators online that will help you through a lot of these numbers.
And what are the factors that somebody should consider as to why they should not refinance?
So there's a couple of different factors that can go into that. First of all, personal financial conditions. Banks are still sort of skittish about who they lend to. So if you don't have a strong credit score, now might not be the best time. Again, if you're going to move shortly, that could also affect things. Probably doesn't make as much sense. You won't get to capture those savings over the long run.
All right, Grant Long, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.